Welcome to the session of JMeter. JMeter is a automation software testing tool which is used to perform the load and stress testing of web and mobile applications. JMeter is an automation tool which is written in a Java language which you can download from this website of jmeterapache.org, and the requirement is that you should have Java 8 or above version installed on your system. So if it is not installed, you have to install the Java version. It is prefer if you use Java 17 version, and from this binaries you can download the zip version Apache JMeter 5.6.3.zip. So it is not a setup, okay. And after you have downloaded, it's a basically a compressed zip file which you can extract. So I've extracted it, and after extracting you will get the bin, and inside the bin you will get the batch file of JMeter, this one, using which you can open the user interface for the JMeter. The JMeter you can run through the console application. You can run it through the console also, and you can run through the UI also. So I'm will be starting to be with the UI, and then we'll be in our upcoming sessions we will be also discussing how we can run it through the console also. So I'm just opening up the batch file. Okay, and this is the UI which you get. The first thing is a test plan. So basically test plan you can say is a project name basically which you want to test. So I'm using a demonstrative site of this RM Infotech Solutions. So I'll give this test plan name as RM Infotech. Any name you can give. Okay. And inside the test plan, you have to add a thread. Thread you can say is a number of users who are visiting on that particular page. So you can use it with the thread it is written users. Okay. So you can select the thread group. So whenever you are making a test scenario, you have to create a thread group basically. So I'm creating a thread group. Okay. In this scenario, what I'm doing, I am saying that some people are visiting to my development module and some people are visiting to my training module. So I have some development web pages, I have some training web pages available over here. So I can name this thread group as a development thread group, say. Okay. I will come to what is this number of users, ramp up time, loop count. I will come to this in my session later, today only. Okay. So, but right now it is just simple. One user is visiting to this particular thread group, and it is coming in 1 second. One person is coming in 1 second. It is accessing the page one time only. We'll discuss this in a more elaborate way later on. So now I have created one thread group, and again I am creating one more thread group, and I can name it as a training thread group. Okay. So it means I have this test plan in which I am having two thread groups for two web pages to be visited. This one and this one. Now I have to send the request. So I'll go to this development thread group and I'll add a sampler. What is a sampler? Sampler is the request type which you want to send. For example, if you want to upload some file, so we'll be using the FTP protocol. We'll send in the FTP request. Similarly, if you are accessing some database, you are doing the database testing for load, then you can use the JDBC request. Similarly, if you want to test the meal, that is what is the delivery time for the meal, you can use the SMTP sample. All these things we'll be discussing in the upcoming sessions. Okay. Similarly, if you are accessing a page, then you will be using a simple HTTP type of a request. So we'll be using the HTTP request over here. Okay. And I can give the name of this request as business and QA. So I'll give the name as a business HTTP request. And again, I'll create one more sampler HTTP request and I'll give the name as QA. So it means here in this thread group we have added two requests. Similarly, in the training also we can add the HTTP request. Say I want to go to the Java and web designing. So I'll give the name as Java and another I will give the name as say web designing. Okay. So this is a basically project structure I am trying to create, in which we have created a test plan and we have created two test groups and we have added two requests in the group. Now, when I visit to this request, it is asking me the server name. So what is your server name? Server name is a domain name basically, because we are not using any proxy server right now. So we will not be writing any port or a server name. We'll be just writing the domain and we'll be using the like this. Okay. .com rminfotechsolutions.com. So here if you see, we have already protocol HTTP is already available. So we do not write HTTP. We use only from www. If I write HTTP, it will not work because it will be doubled. So this is my server name. And what is the path? Okay. Development, and I'm selecting the business solution. So this is the path from slash. So this is the path. So this is the server name. This is the path basically. Similarly, here also I will add okay. We have added this as a, and in the path we'll add the path. Okay. So here the server name in both the places are same and path is different. Okay. So similarly here the server name is same. But path for this will be this one. And similarly over here the server name is same. And path will be this one. Okay. So now we have server name and the path for every request. Okay. Now when we'll be running this test plan, so within the test plan, all the test groups will get executed. Okay. And if you want to add some listener means a report. So you can add the report for the individual thread group also. If I right click over here, add listener. So you can add the listener, and in listener there are different type of the reports available. So you can add the report or a listener for every thread group, or if you want to get a report, common report for all the test plan, then we can select the test plan name, right click, add, and go to the listener, and I'm just adding the tree listener, result listener. So we have added this listener. Okay. Now when I run this particular application, so you can click on start, and start will call these links and give me the response time which we can assert. Now here it is, we are not doing the functional testing. So when we were working on Selenium or APM, then physically website was actually opening up, and you were taking the X path of the button and then you were clicking on it. But here will not be actually opening the website, will not be taking some control of the button or the text box, etc. We are just sending the request and monitoring the response. So physically no website will be opening up. Okay. Now I'm selecting my test plan, and when I run it, so if you want to save it, so you can save it also. So I can click on yes, and it will be saved with the JMS extension. Okay. So I can save it in my desktop only. Okay. And I can save it by the name of, say, rminfotech.gmx. You can save it. Okay. And now when it is executing, the stop button is activated. The stop button means it is working in the background. Okay. And when the stop button is deactivated, that means execution has been completed. And now when you go to the tree listener, so you can see over here, all the pages are called one time. Business request, QA request, Java request, and web designing request. All these requests are executed one time, because here we are using 111. Here also you are using 111. Okay. Now, if I go to the test plan level, and in the test plan level, there is a user defined variable written over here. And if I go to add and add a base URL for them, and inside the base URL, I add the value so this value I have added on a RM Infotech test plan level, and this value is valid for all the test groups. I can use it inside the all the test groups. So how can I use it? Because all have the common server name. So instead of writing this again and again, I can just write dollar curly bracket, dollar curly bracket, and the variable name like this. The advantage of this is that if your variable is changing, so you can change the value here only. No need to change it everywhere in your project. Okay. And dollar curly bracket base URL like this. Similarly over here, dollar curly bracket base URL, dollar curly bracket base URL. So we have changed the server name to the base URL. Okay. Now I am cleaning the report, so you can go and clear. So it will be clear, and you can run it one more time. Start. And then you can check one error. Okay, here it is not taking, here it is taking the URL. But here it is not taking, maybe some error. Dollar in the business HTTP request, let us see. Dollar curly bracket base URL. Maybe spelling is wrong. Again, let me clear it and run this again. Okay, so you can see, if you want to check what is the request going, you can click on it. So this is the request body. So this is the request body it is sending. So it is sending the get type of a request. And this is the base URL. It has automatically taken from the variable. And this is the endpoint. Okay. And similarly, request header. This is the request header. And here you can check the what is the connect time, what is the latency time, how many bytes it has sent, how many, what is the body size. All these things we can use in the assertion. Load time, how much time it is taking. Okay. And this is the response which we are getting. Response body, this is the HTML body we are getting. And you can also match the content of this body in the assertion. All these things which we will be doing in our upcoming lecture. So you can validate the response headers and response body also. This is the request body and the request header, and this is the sample result basically I am getting. Okay. Now, for example, I go to the request level, so we can also, or I go to the this thing, thread level, thread group level. At thread group level also I can create a variable, but its value will be limited to this thread group only. For example, again I right click on it, right, and I'll go to the config element, and here you will get the user defined variable here also. So basically what I'm doing, I'm going to the thread group, development thread group, and right clicking, add, and I'm going to the config element and user defined variable like this. And you can give the name as developer user defined variable, and I can add, for example, business, and I can add QA, and I can add the value here also. Which value? This, for example, path value I want to add. Okay, and similarly, path value I'm removing and I'm adding to the variable like this. Okay, and now what I can do, in case it is changing, so I will change into the variable. I'll not change in my request type. Here I will be just calling it by using dollar curly bracket business. So it will fetch the value. Dollar curly bracket QA. It will fetch the value. Okay. Similarly, if you want to make it for the this thing also, user defined variable, I'll give the name as say training. Okay, and then add say Java and add web design, and I can remove and add to the variable. Similarly, I can remove and add to the variable. And then I can use these two variables, dollar curly bracket Java and dollar curly bracket QA. Okay. Again, clear the result. And again, when I run the test plan, so you can see what is the request I'm sending. Request body. The URL it is taking from the test plan level variable, and this path it is taking from the collection variable. Okay, in that way you can also create the variables and you can store the data and retrieve the data by using the dollar curly bracket, and you can fetch the information. Okay, now coming to the main thing. When I was writing number of threads, ramp up and the loop count, the formula is that we divide the ramp up time, for example 4. Okay, so we divide the ramp up time by the number of the users, 2. So it means we divide 4 divided by 2. Okay, so it means 2 people are visiting in 4 seconds time, and each user is having 2 seconds time, and each user is visiting this page one time only. So it means 2 into 1, and it divided by 4. That is the formula. If I run it one more time, so you'll see what is happening. Okay, so now if you see, business development is called 2 times. Okay, QA is called 2 times, and sorry, uh, business development and QA is called 2 times. Okay, business development is called 2 times, QA is called 2 times, but Java is called 1 time only. And similarly, web designing is called 1 time only. Why? Because in this thread group, we have written 111. So it means this particular thread group, Java and web designing, is called only 1 time. This one. Loop count, one person is visiting, and it is calling the page 1 time only. Okay. But here, what we in this development thread group, we have written 2 people are visiting and they are visiting the page one time. So it means 1 person is visiting business and another person is also visiting business. So it means 2 people are visiting business. The business is called 2 times. Okay, in that way. Similarly, if I increase the loop to 2, now what it will happen? It means Parag is visiting to this business solution for the first time. Okay, this is the first time request. It is processing like this. Contact us is coming. For example, again I go to the QA testing. Parag is visiting the QA testing. So I am visiting the page one time like this, and then again I am visiting this page like this. So it means Parag is visiting this page, this page second time like this. Okay, 2 times request are sent like this. and another person, say Amit. So it means two people are there. So Amit is also visiting to this development page and QA page two times. So it comes to the formula that 2 into 2 will become 4, and 4 divided by 4. So it means every page is has a 1 second time. Okay. So as you increase the number of users and you increase the loop count, it will be divided by the ramp up time. And if the ramp up time is not increasing and the threads are increasing, so it means you are putting more load on the server. Response time is decreasing. Okay, like previously, two people were visiting within 4 seconds time. So we were having, and they were visiting one time only. So they were having 1 second time for the page. Okay. So in that way, you can do the calculation. Okay. Now, if I run it one more time, so how many requests it will come? Two people is visiting the page this 2 times and this 2 times by the first person, 2 times and 2 times by the second person, because I am having the two people visiting the page 2 times. And again, if I run it, and this one is visited only one. Okay, so here if you want to change here also in the second thread group, then also here you have to change, like 3 people are visiting in 2 pages in say 8 minutes. So in that way you have to change here also. Okay, but right now I'll just add it to 111. Okay, I have cleared the tree and again I'm running it. So you can see it is stop is active. When stop is there, then so you can see over here that business development 1 time, business development 2 time, business development 3 time, and business development 4 times. So now business development is called 4 times, QA 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, and 4 time. In that way, if you want to add, I can add one more listener for the better and go. That is called aggregate graph or aggregate report. Okay, so I'll add one more. So you can add multiple uh, reports also. All these things, but how many type of the reports, etc. are there? This is my first class, so we'll discuss that thing in our upcoming classes also. So if I, for example, here in this training thread group, for example, here also I'm adding that 2 people are visiting in 2 seconds, but they are visiting the page one time. Okay, so it means 2 into 1, 2 divided by 2, so 1 second per page in that way. And if I, and here what was happening, 2 people were visiting the page 2 times in 4 seconds. So again, 2 into 2, 4 divided by 4, 1. If you want to decrease it, you can decrease to the 3. So it means now 2 people, 2 page, 2 into 2, 4. And when we divide 3 by 4, so it will be less than 1 second time in that way. So if you go to the aggregate, so here you can see that, so here we were counting it like this. But in aggregate, you can check from here how many times it has been called. Okay. So here you can see business is called 4 times and Java 1 is called 2 times, because we were having here 2 thread users and they were calling 1 time. So one time each. Similarly, 4 and 2. So total 12 samplers were called. And if you want to check the this one business request time, so you can check the load time, latency time. Okay, so in you can compare it to what is your expectation, and accordingly whether it is coming or not, and in the specific time it is coming or not. Well, assertions we will be adding in our next classes, so we'll be adding the assertions also. Okay, now in the same scenario, what I want to do, when I was adding the time 3 seconds or say 4 seconds, so it means two people visiting the page, every page 2 times, but there will be some intervals, there will be some gap between one request and another request. There must be some gap. Okay, so what is preferred to get the real time result? We should add, again I will go to the development thread group, right click, add timer, and I will add a constant timer. That is, I'm adding a constant gap interval between one request and another request. It is preferred if you add it to get the real time. So I'll add the thread delay of 300 milliseconds. So it means after the thread is executed, there will be the delay of 300 milliseconds, and that time is inclusive in this 4 seconds time. Okay, so similarly here also, if you want to add it, you can also, you have the different level. You have a request level, you have a group thread group level, and you have a test plan level. At test plan level also you will get same thing. You will get the listener, you will get the timer. Okay, you will get the config element. So you can, so if you are adding something on a test level, so it will be available everywhere. Similarly, same things are available at a thread group level. Okay, timer, listener, config element, and everything is available. And similarly, at the request level also, if you you can add the timer, constant timer at the request level also. So, but it will be available for that request only. Okay, so it depends upon your requirement where you want to add. For example, here I will add it in the request level. Add timer, constant timer. Say Java constant timer. Like this. So in that way, so it is inside this. Web development, again, if you want to add for that, timer, constant. So this is basically I'm explaining about the basic UI structure of the project, which is we will be elaborating more on this project structure in the next class, where we'll be discussing about different kind of samplers also. Okay, with different. So I'll just run and execute it. Okay, and now you can check from here that these are called 4 times, 8 times, 4 times and 8 times according to my things which we have added, and this is the average time. Okay, so we'll keep up to here.